How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition on Split Decision. With me today, I have the one and only Bill Haney, the CEO of DHB, the father and the trainer of the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Devin Haney. Pleasure having you back on the show, Bill.
Thank you, brother. Salam alaikum to you, brother. You know what I mean? And, thank you for always pushing the, the truth. You know what I mean? And that's what you've always represented, AKHi, in this boxing since you got into it. And that's what I've always respected about you, is getting down to the truth and always keep opening up your platform for Devin to come up on here and let you know what we doing, what we got planned, and all of the above. So thank you, brother.
I appreciate the love and support, Bill. The pleasure is mine, and congratulations on the spectacular win against Kambosos again. Now, we saw you and Devin Haney at the Loma fight. What did you think about Lomachenko performance? Did you expect it to be that close?
Well, before I get to that question, brother, because that's an excellent question. But what I want to do is I want to personally, thank Devin, for everything that he's been doing for boxing, for me, you know what I mean, as a trainer, manager, you know what I mean, and as a father. Everything that he's done and everything that he's represented as we're closing in the year. We happen to go to the Lomachenko fight, but that's one big thing that's about him is he goes and does two unsurmountable, unbelievable tasks and going to Australia and not only becoming the undisputed champion, the youngest undisputed champion in boxing, the youngest undisputed ever in the four-belt era, for not just doing that, but also for leaving something like that and going straight to the Lomachenko fight at Madison Square Garden and getting a chance to see Lomachenko, the two Olympic medal having 3-division champion, a fighter that's on the pound for pound list, on that list that we all have disagreements with. We all debate back and forth as boxing fans. Devin went to the fight. We got in the ring, and Devin said, let's make it happen. That's a tribute to the kind of person he is, the kind of fighter he is, and what he represents. And if that's not the fighter of the year, then I don't know who is. And I don't know who's represented boxing in the way that he's represented boxing, the professionalism, the attitude of believing in your skills, believing in your team, believing in your coach, and to go down under so far where so many have failed, and to succeed by the blessings of Allah, first and foremost, you know what I mean, is still humbling within itself to take it all in. But business being business, hunting is what Devin has been doing his whole time. He's a hunter, and he's hunting for greatness. Going to see Lomachenko and, getting in the ring, taking a good look at him, them looking at the team. Now it ultimately comes down to making the show and making it happen. We're fully committed to this fight, unlike certain people, such as one Paulie Malignaggi, who said that we wouldn't do it. Not only are we doing it, but we're spearheading it, looking forward to encouraging other people of influence to be a part of it, and assuring them that it's going to be an historic event in boxing history for the ages.
Well, we see one thing that haven't changed is that Devin Haney, as the undisputed champion, is still the A-class boogeyman. I have never seen the undisputed champion go into the ring and call a challenger out. So how come Devin Haney didn't play the role of tables turn, but instead...
Well, that's not something that you would want the fighter of the year, the fighter that represents 2022 going into 2023 to be about. To work the narrative that the tables have turned, to work the narrative that you can take your victory lap tour. You know what I mean? That was so professionally put by the Boxing Voice. Who shout out to the Boxing Voice, the voice of the people, who talked about they talked about Devin being able to take a victory lap, a tour. But I'm here to tell you on AKHi TV what we represent, and that's what we represent is the best fighting the best. We represent all comers. We represent the truth. And the truth be told is we've been hunting Lomachenko forever. You know what I mean? And for me to be able to come on AKHi TV and to describe what we've been through to get to this point, but understanding also that it's alhamdulillah, that it's all blessings to Allah for giving us this opportunity. So I don't say it with any malice. I only just deliver the truth, and that's what my brother represents here. And for Devin to go to a fight as an undisputed champion and to get in the ring with a challenger after you've defended the belt in the other guy's country. So you become undisputed in a person's backyard, another country in Australia. You come home. You go back and defend the belts in Australia. Then you come home. Then you go get in the ring with Lomachenko, a guy that has said that he wouldn't fight you unless you got a belt. He said that he wouldn't fight you because you were considered what Paulie Malignaggi called as a pretender. Well, we've had every belt and we represent this. So where are we pretenders, and how many other young black fighters like Devin at 23 is being described as pretenders based on Paulie Malignaggi and what he's saying? And I'm only going on what he's saying. I mean, he, ultimately, he made us and what we represent as being a target, right? And a lot of other fighters don't have voices, and parents and fathers and managers and alike don't have the platform and the voices to come out and actually let people know what really is going on. I mean, I told him then, I said, do you want to bet that we won't take the fight? Because I bet you we won't take the fight now, and I bet you that we beat him. He said, no, I don't want to bet. That's a two win-win. What I'm saying is, if you're in my business, that's all it is win-win. If you thought I was going to lose, brother, then you took a snooze. You did? Because this is fast game, Jack. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing slow about us. We from East Oakland, California. And we ain't taking no shorts nowhere, no how, no nothing about it, brother. You know what I'm saying? So and Paulie, we used to motherfuckers, saying shit that they don't mean, and not meaning shit that they say. So whichever one you are, you know what I mean? It's one thing that I do know is that you got fired, you retired, and you're a liar. You know what I'm saying? You dig? And those three, because we're hunting for Lomachenko, as you see, and as much as you would have liked to downplay it, right? It's never happened before, Paulie. You never did it, and nor has it been done. And that's what being great is about. And that's what Devin has set out to do as a 23-year-old guy, is to be mentioned amongst the greats one day. And I believe him wholeheartedly that the task that's set out to be is what it's gonna be. And to rest on having the 4 belts, the 5 belts, the 6 belts, any of that. He said coming out of the fight that he wanted to be in the best fights. Well, Lomachenko said he needs time. And he said, we were walking out the ring and we heard him, he says, I need time, but I'll be ready, right? And I said, Dad, did you hear that shit? He said, yeah, I heard it. And I said, okay, well, let's see who else raises their hand while he's taking his time.
Well, even after Devin Haney went into the ring and called Lomachenko out, Paulie Malignaggi still made a video claiming that he don't believe the Lomachenko versus Devin Haney fight is going to happen, and he's blaming it on you guys. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I just told him, I said, if you are that confident and you know what you know because you've been saying it, I said, bet. And I said, make it light on yourself. Now, if you're not going to bet that the fight ain't going to happen, then shut the fuck up because you've already got Lomachenko in some shit. You know what I mean? Because you seem to be fat mouthing more than anybody else. So if you're helping the promotion, if you're coming back later on and saying, well, you're doing something to help the promotion, then brother, have a rest and let us do it and let us take care of the business. You know what I mean? You had your turn. Now we have an ours. But to defame anyone's integrity, right? Or to question what anybody is doing, you're not even involved in the business. But if you feel like that you know the business that much and you keep standing and double downing and all that, the bet still remains the same. Do you want to bet that we lying? Do you want to bet that we don't want to fight Lomachenko? Or do you want to bet that Lomachenko beats Devin? Either one of the bets, I'll take them. I'll take them. I'll take both of them. It don't make a motherfucking difference. You know what I'm saying? But Devin represents something that you've never done. So the comparison to you and Dev is not in the same sentence, sir. Not right now or ever. You know what I'm saying? What Devin has accomplished, sir. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I mean, it's a fact that Devin Haney, as the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, has accomplished more than everything Paulie has accomplished his entire career. That's a fact. That's not up for debate. But do you believe Paulie Malignaggi got Lomachenko in trouble and Loma really didn't want it? And it was Paulie comments that is basically firing back on Lomachenko?
Well, no, because Lomachenko is somebody that Devin has been looking for to put in the ring based on what people think about him. You know what I mean? Now, what I want to make sure is this is the guy. You know what I mean? Because we have nothing to beat Lomachenko for other than the respect of the people that respect him, the people that think that he's a hell of a fighter and they think that he would beat Devin Haney. We've maintained and we've always said, this is the fight that we're looking for. This is the guy that we want to fight. And I think it's a testament to also to Devin and that he would have fought him then and that he wants to fight him now. So I don't want to hear anything else about anybody saying what it would or what isn't going to be. It's going to be a fight, and you know what I mean? I bet my life on it.
That's right. Now, switching gears a little bit, Bill, I do want to talk about, what was your thoughts on the performance of Lomachenko? Did you expect Loma to have such a close fight against Ortiz?
No, you don't go into it with that. I went into it open-minded to take a look at, you know what I mean, Lomachenko, and I've seen him before, but I took a look at him and processed what Devin is now to what Lomachenko is versus when I took a look at him before. They had invited me to come out and to do that. And I said, okay. I said, are you guys serious? That's what you're going to do? And then, we came in and I said, well, where are my seats at? Right. And they said, okay, well, you can sit right here and take a look. And oh boy, did I take a look. I enjoyed the fight tremendously. I enjoyed what Ortiz did and came to bring. He's a young man with a whole lot of heart and a whole lot of skill. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for him, he was limited his gas tank. Like a young fighter would be, and that's a test. That's something that all young fighters need to know, and they need to pay attention. The difference between Devin and other young fighters is that his gas tank, right? The guy actually puts the work in. He puts the miles in, right? He's an elite athlete, and he performs and prepares like an elite athlete, and that's the thing that will always set you apart. And young fighters need to pay that, athletes in general need to pay that very close attention, you know what I mean, as to what you do, not just in the ring, not just in the gym, but he's an exceptional athlete outside of the gym as well.
Now, did you feel that Loma got hurt in that fight by Ortiz?
Uh, I saw some times where, you know, he might have got buzzed. He might have got buzzed. No more different than, you know, I see with a fighter like with Devin. Several times in several different rounds, his fighters, when he's fighting, they get buzzed, you know, buzzed, but not go out. You know what I'm saying? So Loma, to answer your question, yeah, a couple times, but you know, he's a hell of a warrior, man. Loma is a hell of a fighter, man. He kept going. You know, he lost those few rounds. You know what I'm saying? And I saw where he stepped on the gas uh, against Ortiz, and Ortiz had a chance, and he'll play the fight back, and the team will play the fight back, and they'll say that might have been the changing point of the fight, because that's when you step back on the gas on Loma, and you know, that's just the way it is. He took over from there, and then I think they started banking on what they had did previously and not what they need to do as the rounds went on.
Now, a lot of people want to know, even though Loma just fought, is that have your team already started negotiating? If not, when will the first conversation with Bob and Loma team begin?
Oh well, they've already said what they've said. They've they've let they've let us know that he has every intention on doing what's right in terms of making this fight happen. Um, you know, Bob has indicated that he's doing everything to make the fight happen as well. So we have all the teams, all the support backed by ESPN, and I am nothing but optimistic about this happening.
Well, Lomachenko did say that Devin Haney is the A side. He's the undisputed champion. He's willing to fight Devin Haney in his hometown and do whatever it takes or whatever Devin Haney want, from the rematch clause, so on and so forth. Do you believe Loma will be a man of his word and do all of the above?
Well, it's one thing that, you know, to my people that I need to tell them, he gave Devin Haney all his grams. You know what I'm saying? And publicly, privately, I haven't heard anything else different. You know what I mean? In terms of uh, the belief and the understanding that Devin did what it took to make this fight happen. And we're all working together as a team, both Lomachenko's team, Devin's team, Top Rank, you know, working hand in hand to deliver this event at some place that's going to be spectacular. You know, and it's a true legacy fight for both young men, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm just happy to be in the Devin Haney business and to be a part of something that's going to be so historic.
And we happy to cover it, Bill. That's going to be a legendary fight. Now, what was said in the ring? What was your thoughts on what Lomachenko said to Devin Haney when they met face to face? He said, "Is this lightweight? This is heavyweight."
Well,
What was your take on that?
well, see, being in the Devin Haney business, I listened a little bit closer than everybody else, right? You know, so you know, I say, oh shit. I mean, does that mean, what does that mean, right? No different than when I heard I need a little bit of time, but I'll be ready. So, you know, I don't want the misperception of the people. Dev said he wants the biggest and best fights. If the people believe that a fighter is not ready to fight Devin, and the fighter believes he's not ready, then may the next person raise their hand. And I ain't heard nothing from nobody. You know what I'm saying? But you know, maybe Lomachenko is the best guy. I don't know. You know, Devin said make the biggest and the best fights happen, and that involved some of the biggest and what I believe to be the best names in or around the lightweight division. So
I
here
guess
we
what I'm
are.
asking Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is, of course, Loma making that statement, a lot of people felt like he was making excuses because why didn't Lomachenko tell Luke Campbell and Nakatani, is this heavyweight? Because they bigger than Devin Haney, lengthwise, height wise, and stuff like that. So how come Loma, in your opinion, never told Nakatani, Luke Campbell, is this heavyweight? However, he told Devin Haney that.
Well, my thing is, and our thing is it's what you weigh the day before the fight. It's what's your weight. If you can get down to yours is 135, well, you're a 135 pounder. If you 140, you're 140 pounder. If you 130, you're 130 pounder. You know what I mean? I have more of a discrepancy or misunderstanding when people say that they don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? They say everything, but I look forward to this fight. Or they say everything, but they say everything, but it's going to be a great fight. You know, and I think Devin showed once again his professionalism when his response was, "I'll show you in the ring."
Yes, sir. Now, in addition to that, um, you know, a lot of people believe Devin Haney is killing himself making the weight. So that's more of a disadvantage than an advantage for Devin Haney. Loma is making the weight very comfortably. And Loma did state on more than one occasion that he is not moving back down to 130 pounds because he can no longer make that weight. So all these weight excuses ahead of the fight is ridiculous, knowing the fact that Loma fought in the amateurs at 132 pounds, which is 3 pounds south of 135. Nevertheless, you talked about Loma stating that he needs more time to be ready for the fight. Are you hinting that he might not be ready and he gonna need a fourth tune-up fight? He already had 3 tune-ups, so does he need a fourth fight to be ready? I thought he's pound for pound. A pound for pound fighter um, doesn't need all these tune-ups to fight a champion, right? How does
Well,
that work?
Well, I'm in the Devin Haney business. I'm in it for the long haul. I know that Devin is an unbelievable special talent that looks to make the biggest and the best fights happen at such a young age of 23. Um, Although at the same time, we are very conscientious that unlike others that were describing other fights as pretenders. You see a fight like Jermaine Ortiz. Uh, he deserved it. You know what I mean? Where others brought him in as, uh, you know, um, as a tune-up, right? And here's a guy that came in with his whole family, and they came in with a belief and a shot, man. And that's what boxing represents. And we had a hell of a fight, right? And so these guys that are being called pretenders by uh, a former champion like Malignaggi are wrong, man. The game doesn't deserve that. If boxing is going to make a comeback, then it has to come all the way back to giving opportunities to those guys, man, that know that they only got a shot at it and they're going to come ready to fight, other than these quote unquote tune-ups,
And,
And I think, and that's not to take away, from um, Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a top 10 fighter, right? Um, you know, but if Loma is not ready, then may the next person stand up. If he's the fighter, then give him the credit that he is and give Devin the credit he is, and let's make this fight happen. But I don't like to hear all the other excuses, about, well, who would beat Loma, or then let's let Devin fight who would beat Loma, not Loma. You know what I'm saying? We want to make the best fights happen and at 135 because we're closing it out. And
and
if those can't happen, if those fights can't happen, right? Because this is what the people done said. These people, they said Loma. So we went looking for Loma. Loma never came looking for us. He's never mentioned Devin's name. He's never, none of that. Only thing that he's let the people do is create these false narratives. So yes, he's going to pay for it. Yes, he's going to pay for it for letting the people do that. Yes, he's going to pay for Paul Malignaggi and Paul Malignaggi's comments. Yes, he's going to pay for that. Absolutely. Is Loma a gentleman and his family a gentleman? And do we love Ukraine? Absolutely. I met Usyk. He's a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful guy. And everything that they represent, I love them, right? But for all of their fans, all of the media that have did that and have pushed those narratives on my son, we are going to punish Lomachenko for that shit. And the bet still stands with Paul Malignaggi. If he think we playing, then bet. If we don't, then shut up and let us handle our business.
Yes, sir. Now we're gonna get to Paulie in a little bit, but if Loma is not ready, then he never gonna be ready. You either ready now or you ain't never gonna be ready. So hopefully, when he said he needs more time, it's just hopefully he gonna start his training camp a little bit earlier. Not that he needs another tune-up fight.
We had guys like Gervonta Davis that said Devin was going to be next. We came out and then they said, well, Devin's not next because Devin has George Kambosos to deal with. Go deal with George. So we dealt with George Kambosos again, and you still haven't heard nothing from them. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we want to make the best fights happen with the people that are qualified, the people that are ready, and that if they believe that they are the kings in or around the lightweight division.
Now, speaking of Paulie Malignaggi, he said that Luke Campbell, now and 3 years ago, is a better fighter than anyone Devin Haney beat to this day. What was your thoughts on that statement in particular?
Well, that's funny because Luke Campbell is 2 inches taller than Dev, and when Dev seen when Dev seen Lomachenko, he responded heavyweight, and he was able to go in and virtually have a tough fight, but get out of there on Luke Campbell. I'd have taken anything away from Luke Campbell, but we wanted to fight Luke Campbell. That's why we were in the tournament, the WBC tournament, with Teofimo Lopez, Javier Fortuna, and Zaur Abdullaev. Teofimo Lopez went what he called a different direction, an easier route is what he called it. And what Mikey Garcia said to be true is you don't come from another sanctioning body, another division, to petition to fight for a vacant world belt. It doesn't happen. It was the first time that it was happening that Lomachenko came in and petitioned to fight for a vacant title against Luke Campbell. And for you to say that Luke Campbell, ironically, was tougher than anybody on our resume. Well, we wanted to fight him, buddy. And we wanted to fight him. He know we want to fight. We was mad at Luke Campbell because Luke Campbell went along with the petition to fight Vasyl Lomachenko in an unprecedented fashion. It had never happened, brother, before. And then after that, when we go down there to Mexico, to then petition to fight Lomachenko for the world title, Lomachenko, top rank, our dear friends over there, Carl Moretti, Brad Jacobs, had a different plan. Their plan was to petition, email, whatever you want to call it, to become franchise.
We're going to get to that.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to tell you. Which, in this petition, you would then be stripped of your WBC title and any mandatories or any work thus far. We ended up getting that belt. We whipped George Kambosos for it. Never petitioned a day of our lives to not fight nobody, to not have access to the people. We never did that. We've always petitioned to fight, and sometimes we petition to fight in such a fast manner to get on a card to fight because ain't nobody in line any motherfucking way. AKHi, excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? But we ended up getting the franchise belt, the belt that got our dear friends and partner now Top Rank on the belt, right? And we also got the WBC belt that Lomachenko was stripped from, and we were awarded the responsibility to the people.
I mean, there's no
We
doubt
hung
about it.
on to that. We hung on to that. We hung on to that, and we hung on to the responsibility of the people in the WBC, and we did not bring out the franchise belt and none of the and the defense, none of the pictures, nothing of that. Nor did I get a chance to speak with my dear friend ever about the franchise and me wanting to do anything about the franchise or with the franchise, or can we get away from not making this fight happen because I need to make this fight happen? None of those kind of things, because I never considered nobody in the boxing as pretenders. I never considered that. I never considered other people that they don't have hope, dreams, and aspirations to come in there and fight the fight of their life against my son. And I think that we represent what they call yesteryear, something in boxing that is a bit nostalgic, you know, because that's all I got a chance to watch as a kid, is watch the Hearns and Sugar Ray and Duran, watch all of them as a kid.
And
You know,
Devin
those
Haney
was the
is a
fights I
throwback
liked.
fighter. And Devin Haney is an old school throwback fighter. So for Paulie not to give Devin Haney his just doing the credit he deserved as the A-class boogeyman that ended up defeating all odds shows that he's biased in a major way, because factually speaking, when we talking about Luke Campbell and Lomachenko, they avoided Devin Haney. In addition to that, Linares beat excuse me. Well, you guys could expect Bill Haney to come right back. So go ahead and subscribe below. Click on the like button. It's free to subscribe. Let me see what's going on with Bill. But yeah, with that being said, go ahead, hit that like button. Click on the notification bell. Subscribing is not enough, because when I post a video, you're not going to see it. However, if you click on the notification bell, every time I post, you will get a notification that I posted, if you want to keep up with all of the boxing news. Therefore, make sure you guys click on the notification bell. So, like I was saying before, Bill Haney phone disconnected. He should be right back. Paulie Malignaggi made an interesting comment that Luke Campbell is better than anybody Devin Haney fought, which is crazy that Paulie will say something like that, because Linares beat Luke Campbell. He dropped him and he completely beat him. So it's a fact that Linares is a better fighter than Luke Campbell. So for Paulie Malignaggi to state that Luke Campbell is a better opponent than anybody Devin Haney fought, it's a racially biased opinion. And that's a fact. This is not up for debate, because Linares, who Devin Haney beat Luke Campbell.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I was saying, Bill, is that, you know, when Paulie made the comment that Luke Campbell is a better opponent or a better fighter than anybody Devin Haney beat, well, if we do a fact check, you will notice that Linares is a three-time world champion in multiple divisions. On the other hand, Luke Campbell, who's a good fighter, did not become a champion, not even once. To make matters worse, Linares beat Luke Campbell. And we all know Devin Haney dominated Linares like no one else did. If we're talking about, we're not talking about knockout. I'm talking about dominating him for 10 rounds straight. Nobody ever did that to Linares, even Lomachenko. Lomachenko, one judge had Linares up at the time of the stoppage. So that factually debunks anything Paulie Malignaggi has to say. Well, you know, when it comes to his racially biased opinion that Luke Campbell is better than anybody Devin Haney fought. So, you know, I just wanted to point that out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, absolutely, it makes no sense. It really doesn't. This whole you know, as we were going through it, they told us the triangle theories, the this and that, the you know, it doesn't make sense and all that. So we went and got every belt. We got all of them, right? And instead of saying once again that what if they did, they didn't give us a chance or they didn't. Um, we're proving them wrong because we still want to make those fights happen for the people, right? Doing it for the people. That's what it's all about. It's not necessarily about personally towards any fighter or any camp. We don't have any negative feelings towards them. But from a competitive spirit, that, and that's something that Devin is and what he represents. He gives me a job to do, and I take my job very seriously. And you know, and that's bringing them and making the best fights happen possible.
Another interesting thing Paulie said is that Loma and Teofimo will beat Devin Haney. Now, Teo, who beat Loma, said recently that Devin will beat Loma, right? And I'm pretty sure if you ask Loma who would win between Teo and Devin, he would probably say Devin. Doesn't it sound like Paulie is more confident than Loma and Teo because it's a fact they avoided him? But you know, Paulie says all that, and he not the one fighting.
Well, I get mixed up with all that shit, right? One thing that I know is that I'm pretty clear on Lomachenko saying that he wants to make the fight happen, and I know that from what I'm hearing is that his team, as well as Top Rank, were all in conjunction to make that fight happen. And one thing that I want to do, and I'm more of an optimistic person when dealing with this. You know, this thing. We've always maintained and was very professional about this. You know, it's only always been a fight. You know, that we've wanted to do for the people, and no different. You know what I'm saying? No different than now us having the belts, us being able to not fight him. We would rather the people give us credit for fighting him than showing them the business side of it. Yes, he's, you know, it don't even feel right me saying it, the A side. You know what I'm saying? Because Devin, we ain't never even pushed that A side shit. You know, so whatever, man. You know what I mean? Every time that Devin fights, the other fighter as well as him do really good. I think one of the things about Devin and his promotions that he's involved with, all the fighters, you know what I mean, make record breaking money. You know what I'm saying? They make more money than they made fighting anybody else. I think George Kambosos, they both agreed that they changed each other's lives when they got together. And me seeing that and hearing that from the business side, that means everything, you know?
Now, switching gears back to Paulie, because this is another comment. He actually made a whole video on this where he said that you bought Devin Haney fights. What was your thoughts when you saw something like that? You know, of course, Devin Haney, the undisputed champion, and Paulie over here trolling like Rolly does, claiming that you bought Devin Haney fights.
All right, so I mean, well, shit. If you thought that I made Dev, you know, in our community, we say, well, make another Dev. You know, if you thought I bought him, why don't you go buy you one? Because it's fucking possible. This is a blessing that only Allah has given and bestowed through me, you know, with my son. You know what I mean? He's for the universe, man, to enjoy and watch. I happen to been able to have watched him for a lot longer than you guys, but that's what he represents, man. And anybody that's going against it, where, you know, That's just that's just you. That's your choice. That's Paulie's choice, you know?
And and we all can agree, Bill, that if Trump supported Paulie's career every step of the way and invested $1 billion in Paulie's career, Paulie will still get beat up by Cotto, Hatton. Sean Porter
There
will
you go.
still knock
There you
him
go.
out. AB will still beat him. There's no amount of money
There you
in the
go.
world that will have bought Paulie Malignaggi's skill
Yeah, you
and
can't.
turned
You
him
can't.
and turned him from a B-level fighter into a great fighter. You can't buy skills. Either you have or you don't.
Well, one thing that you can do is you can afford to buy an education for your kid. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? We know that we have public school education as well, but sometimes, you know, when a kid is going to public school, right, or in a public program, boxing program like a boys and girls program, and you spend time with your kid after school, right, after hours, after they're at the club, or you're fortunate enough to get an education from a Floyd Senior, a Roger Mayweather, a Eddie Mustafa, Virgil Hunter, Billy Giles, Roy Jones, um, Freddie Pendleton. You know, should I go on? Do I need to, you know, do I need to go on? So when you talk about the investment of in my kid, of course, he's my son, but he had to, and he does have the aptitude to retain so much. That's a blessing, along with he has an unbelievable amount of testosterone. We checked him out. He's producing testosterone at an unbelievable amount. So when you talk about, you know, scientific and what's special about him, it's a lot of things that he's blessed to have. We recognized it early on, got behind it, as well as I encourage other parents to get behind what they see special in theirs and do the same thing. Um, and as far as Paul Malignaggi, it's just hard to stay focused and to concentrate on him when um, he's not his conversation is not representing anything that we're about. It's a direct contradiction, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, Paulie did say that, you know, he said something around the lines that he didn't have a father figure that, you know, that was there for him like you are for Devin Haney. But I mean, there's always this stereotype in the, you know, the black community that the black parents are not there for their kids. But when you are a role model that leads by example, Paulie wants to talk down on that. Since when having a supportive father is a negative and not having a father is a positive? You know, why is that even a topic of conversation? You supporting your son, that's what you're supposed to do, and you should be praised for that. So
Well, I think Paulie understands that if you use a certain amount of negativity towards anyone, um, and they have a fan base, that you'll get some type of resistance. And you know, he's very careful and calculated in terms of how he critiques. You know, Devin in particular. I think that he's gotten a lot of traction by using Devin. You know that's alhamdulillah. You know, to him. You know, if he's benefited by the stuff that he's been putting up, you know, it lets me know that it's that many people that that you know that don't want to see Devin win, and that's okay too. When you go to a stadium, and you on any sport on any given day, you know how many fans want to see the team win, and how many fans want to see the team lose. Let's not take it personal. You know what I'm saying? And let's not definitely not shift it to where it's race related and not people related. You know what I mean? We fight in other countries. We're you know we're fighting in other countries and representing um, our respective country but also we're respecting being, humankind. We're respecting being the people that we are, and where we come from and how we deal with adversity. That means a lot and represents a lot. And it doesn't matter what color skin you are. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean, what you have or what you don't have. It's when that time comes that it's some adversity. It's how you deal with it. And I think people are always interested in how people deal with adversity.
Well, Paulie Malignaggi did admit that he likes to talk about race because race sells, and he knows that. So, it's not a surprise that Paulie Malignaggi got fired from Showtime for being a racist. That's factually speaking. But I do want to get your thoughts on this. Paulie Malignaggi called Devin Haney a fake world champion till he beat Kambosos. So, was Lennox Lewis a fake world champion too, since he won the WBC title the same way Devin Haney did? And ironically, Lennox Lewis became undisputed, and he's the last heavyweight undisputed champion to this day. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, when Paulie says what he says, it's just not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've gotten every belt in the WBC, right, to get. And I repeat, when we went to Mexico to petition to become world champion, Lomachenko, Carl Moretti, and the team, Lomachenko team, were petitioning for franchise status that was later turned into a world belt, which later Paul Malignaggi called as a super champion, which later George Kambosos got his ass whipped for not once, but twice, right? And the belt, I told him, I said, the belt, we have the belt. We didn't throw the belt in the trash or do no disrespectful stuff like that to nobody. We're not trying to be that. But when we say that we don't use the status that the belt brings to the table because we want to be closer to the people and we want the people to identify with, that they make decisions on who they see fights because they pay, well, then that's what the stance that Devin wants to take on it. And I back him 110%. I fully support him on it because the status doesn't represent, and it'll affect another young Devin one day, right? And it'll affect another young Jamal Charlo one day. Was it Jamel or Jamal? Which one?
Jamel.
Jamel. It'll affect another.
Jamal. I'm sorry for the franchise. Jamal.
It'll affect Jamal. It'll affect another young Charlo one day, another young Haney one day. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we take the hard stance on, and we just hope that the people understand, both with the WBC, both the people in the the community, the chat, you know what I mean, and all the boxing fans worldwide, that know that it's something that people work all their lives for, man. You know what I'm saying? And they get in that position and they fight and they claw, and they should be given an opportunity, AKHi. You know what I'm saying? That's all, man. We ain't, that, and that's what that franchise positioning represented. And I'm saying that it's just not something that a lot of fighters, that don't have the big promoters. Because if you don't have the big promoter and you're tied to the big promotional company, you might not get a shot, based on position. And even though Devin at that time, when Paul Malignaggi is calling him a pretender, he has all and every reason. He's more hot on social media and Instagram and YouTube, and he's been a headliner more times than Teofimo Lopez at that time wasn't even a headliner, right? And even Paul Malignaggi, a guy that's been in the game, can still call Devin a pretender, right? It's so unfair. And then still able to move around based on using a new status called a franchise status that was then changed into a thing. And my dear friend Mauricio told me, he said on the air, he says, well, you didn't get the email? You didn't get? No, I didn't get no email. I didn't get nothing. I didn't get nothing to know that it was going to be anything like that. Right? I know how to talk directly. I know how to talk directly to him, but now we make it make sense by saying is that even us, we get the status, and then we say we don't use it in support of the next young kid that's coming behind, and saying, should somebody get that status, then that's not what we represent, and that's not what fighters like him represent. You know,
that's not what true champions represent. Now
well,
you talked about Paulie Malignaggi describing Devin Haney when he was Loma mandatory as a pretender. He described all of the fighters who worked their way up in lines for a title shot as pretenders, from Jamal Charlo when he was the mandatory to Devin Haney, and even Floyd Mayweather at some point. I'm assuming he was a pretender too, right?
yes,
So
yes.
if we go on by that logic, was Floyd Mayweather a pretender? Was Lennox Lewis a pretender? Was Jamal Charlo a pretender like Devin Haney?
You know, that's one thing that always with Devin, that he maintains a great relationship with Floyd still to this day. You know, Floyd, called Devin, wished him well during the, after the fight. You know, as Floyd is a gentleman that he always will anyway. But having the line of communication still open with TBE, with Dev, as Devin is approaching his greatness, means a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? And with that knowing, just by Floyd letting Devin know, keep doing what you're doing, champ. You know what I'm saying? We know that Floyd went through the same thing. You know, we know that the fights, he was begging for the big fights. We know that, you know what I'm saying? They were saying that he wasn't a ticket seller, he wasn't a draw, but he had that thing. You know what I'm saying? That we know, that the world knew, and that's one thing that we know about Devin. No matter what they say, we know what we got. You know what I mean? And yes, to answer your question, according to Paul Malignaggi, you can just, and along with a lot of the critics, put Devin's name right there with the greats, because that's where the familiarity happens. The doubt, the uncertainty, the we got to do more than what everybody else has to do type shit. And keep bringing it, and inshallah, we're gonna keep delivering.
But ironically, the pretender Devin Haney became the undisputed champion, which is something that is Lomachenko only dreaming of. Devin Haney is living Lomachenko dream. A pretender is living Lomachenko dream. So
well, I take Lomachenko serious. I take Lomachenko even more serious after the comment that he made. Heavyweight, is this not a heavyweight? So does that mean that you then prepare even harder? You know what I mean? If you was going to prepare for a lightweight, imagine how you going to prepare for a heavyweight. You see what I'm saying? So we're taking him even more serious. We know what Lomachenko brings, the excellent footwork, the excellent footwork.
The excellent footwork.
Well, excellent footwork.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, can you take me back a little bit, just briefly, when Devin Haney was a contender, not a prospect, like Paulie said, he became Loma mandatory, and how Devin got the title. Can you just inform the public that are not informed how Lomachenko ducked Devin Haney when Devin Haney was his mandatory? Because let's be real. Lomachenko avoided the Devin Haney fight on more than one occasion. This was just one occasion. Well, we could talk about the two and the third occasion later on, but for now, can you just briefly talk about that and how that situation went about?
Now, which occasion is this? Is this the occasion? Bring me to it, because it's been so many times now. You know what I mean?
The first occasion when Devin Haney was Lomachenko mandatory.
Now, the first occasion when they went to Mexico, after they went to Mexico, now he has the franchise belt. So we have a show that we can go on. That's a Logan Paul KSI show that's with Matchroom, right? And nobody is in line to fight Devin. Nobody didn't raise their hand. I mean, you can just go back and just type in Devin Haney and who wants to fight him, and motherfucker, you're gonna see the right now. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't no secret, right? So I then told the WBC, I said, well, can I get a sanctioned fight against Santiago? He's undefeated, and he's no different than an Ortiz fighter. He's just like Ortiz, right? He's rated enough, rated top 10 or whatever the criteria is, top 10, top 15, whatever it is, to get sanctioned as a world champion, right? He's undefeated. He's undefeated. He's still undefeated. And then people have a problem.
Yeah, we lost you for a second. We lost you for a second. But hello? I just want to clarify. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. So Bill Haney gonna be right back. We have almost 1,000 people in the house tuning in live. So click that like button, man. It's free. Subscribe. Click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live. That being said, if you have any question, make sure you throw a super chat, and I'm gonna ask Bill the question if I could. You know, I appreciate all the love and support and all of the super chats in the comment section. But so to Bill Haney get back, like I was saying, I was asking Bill Haney about how Devin Haney became the WBC champion. He became the WBC champion by challenging Lomachenko for that title. Now, it's not Devin Haney's fault that Lomachenko vacated his title and was stripped of his title for ducking Devin Haney. That's Lomachenko's fault. That's Lomachenko problem.
Hello?
Yeah, Bill, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just to clarify, just because I want people to understand what's going on here, you guys wanted to fight Lomachenko. Devin Haney called out Lomachenko when Devin Haney was Lomachenko mandatory. But because Lomachenko turned down the fight and was stripped of his WBC belt, however, to save face, they gave him a franchise. Then
they gave him a status. They gave him
a trophy. A trophy. The WBC president called it.
Status.
Yeah, it was a trophy. The WBC president said it's not a title, it's not a championship, it's a trophy. Lomachenko requested this trophy to avoid Devin Haney, basically. So after that, that's when you decided to fight Santiago because you had no other option, because Loma wasn't available?
Because listen, let me tell you this. Because we had no other options, we had already won the WBC tournament that was going up the ladder. You see what I'm saying? So after Teofimo Lopez and Javier Fortuna got out the tournament, anybody that was in the organization in the top 15 could have got in the tournament, but they didn't get in the tournament. They never petitioned to get in the tournament to fight Luke Campbell. So Zaur Abdullaev and Devin Haney got into it, got for the number one. Now, once you became the number one, there was nobody else to fight. So the interim belt became the world belt after Lomachenko got stripped. Once Lomachenko got stripped for petitioning for WBC franchise status, so you get stripped of that. Now, there's nobody else for Devin to fight because he's already won the tournament and he's already had every belt in the WBC. Silver, international, NABF, youth belt, whatever belt that you could, whatever belt, look at all the belts, he didn't have all of them. You see what I'm saying? So it was nothing else and nobody else other than to award Devin. See, Devin was awarded as the WBC champion with no contest from no one else. They said that he was emailed, but actually it was Lomachenko and them who emailed the WBC and requested to become franchise champion. So they ran out with the narrative that Devin was the email champion. So guess what we said is, okay, when we catch up with you niggas, we're going to hang on to the email, beat the brakes off of you for everything else. We're going to take that. Then guess what we're going to do? We're going to show up at your fight with all the shit, with you butt booty, ass naked, and tell you we still want to fight you. Now, how about that?
You can't beat that.
Yeah,
you
how
can't
about
beat that.
I'm through telling the story. How about that? That's a great story. That's a great story. That's a great story for Devin versus the media. Versus the media that represents the idea that he's not that guy. Not against Lomachenko per se and Usyk and the Ukraine team that we saw down in London, because I took Devin we went to London to watch the Olympics, and they did a wonderful job, only for us to come back. Devin was the youth champion, but he was too young, and they wouldn't let him go to trials. So instead of saying, when they said that he was too young, and he had won all the youth shit at 16, he won 17 and 18, everything, but he was 16, instead of coming back and being at the Olympics with Keyshawn Davis, because see, Keyshawn Davis and Devin is the same age. Devin went pro, Keyshawn went to the Olympics. You see what I mean? So Devin is 29 and 0 now. So that's how serious we've been about this pro shit. Getting in and out the ring, doing 12 rounds, being up under the lights, and all that shit like Ortiz. You know, you had Ortiz, and up under the lights, he ran out of gas. Guaranteed Devin ain't about to run out of no gas.
And Bill, dialing back to that, Devin Haney, with all this email talk, Devin Haney always petitioned to fight. Lomachenko petitioned not to fight Devin Haney. He's the definition of a true email champion. Loma is, because he petitioned not to fight.
Well, let me tell you, he petitioned not to fight with an excuse that he's going to make a unification fight that hadn't happened yet, right? Which ended up being he was out of the ring longer, waiting not to fight Devin, to fight somebody else, than he's been his whole career, including the war.
And he was out for nearly a year, if not more than a year.
It was more than a year. It was more than a year. It was more than a year.
Yeah, to make matters worse, if you're on the road to becoming undisputed, you don't drop a belt off on the road to becoming undisputed. You're going to keep all your titles and unify. You're not going to drop one of the belts, then unify with another belt. That makes no sense at all. That defeats the purpose. Why would you fight for a belt and drop a belt? You're going to keep this belt, the WBC, and fight Devin Haney. Then you're going to fight Teofimo Lopez for the IBF. So, you know.
You don't drop the belt, you got stripped.
He got stripped, exactly, because he was forced
Mikey
to do something he didn't want to do.
Like Mikey Garcia said, is first, you're not even supposed to do that. You're not even supposed to come from another division. That's the one. That was preferential treatment, or treatment that was not consistent with what has been given in the past. Let me just say that. So once he got that, then he was able to get the franchise that only had happened one other time with Lomachenko, right?
With Canelo, you mean?
That's with the franchise stuff. So
right. And Bill, you know, because Paulie brought this up when he was talking with Paulie Malignaggi, he tried to describe it and compare it to the Jaron Ennis situation with Errol Spence. He said that, Jaron, look, he's the mandatory for Errol. He became mandatory this year. That's not going to stop the Crawford fight from taking place. That's a whole different story. That's like comparing apples to rocks, not even oranges. Because Errol Spence, first of all, he always fought a champion for the title. He never fought for a vacant title the way Lomachenko did. So when you fight for a vacant title, you sign up. You are obligated to defend your title against the mandatory because you are fighting for a vacant title. That's the key difference. Lomachenko, unlike Errol Spence, he fought for a vacant title. He requested as a two-time champion at lightweight to fight Luke Campbell for a vacant title. So he signed up to fight the mandatory Devin Haney 6 months after, which this is more similar to when Canelo got the WBC belt from Benavidez when Benavidez was stripped against Caleb Smith, and Canelo was obligated to fight Avni Yildirim. So the guy who created the franchise title, Canelo Alvarez, didn't even utilize the franchise title to avoid Avni Yildirim, a fighter coming off a loss and 2-year layoff. Why? Because that was his mandatory. He was obligated to fight him because he fought for a vacant WBC title. So he had to fight him within 6 month time span. That's why Canelo did not utilize the franchise status to become because he wanted to become undisputed. That was going to defeat the purpose of becoming undisputed if he would have had lost the WBC belt, which for Lomachenko case, that's exactly what he did. It kills the purpose. It defeats the purpose of you wanting to be undisputed and fighting Teofimo Lopez if you're going to vacate or be stripped of one of your titles to pick up another title. That's a waste of time, and that's the key difference between the Jaron Ennis and the Devin Haney situation with Lomachenko. And I just wanted to bring that to the forefront.
Listen, I'm glad that you clarified it because, you know, I don't want to be, in all fairness, sometimes, you know, I don't speak on other people's business because I'm not qualified. I'm not in it enough that I know enough about it. You know what I'm saying? So when he spoke about that, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I just said, well, you know, I said, let's just stay focused on Devin's business because I don't know nothing about that. And if he hadn't been speaking on Devin's business, then I wouldn't have jumped out there to talk to him in the first place. So if he had spoke about Jaron, I couldn't have said nothing because I didn't know. So I'm glad. Thank you for educating me.
And let me inform you, Bill, of another thing that nobody knows about, which I'm about to inform the public about it, which is Lomachenko, before he fought Teofimo Lopez, right after he beat Luke Campbell, he was supposed to fight Kambosos. However, for the people that don't know, Lomachenko decided not to fight Kambosos in between after he beat Luke Campbell because he received a lot of backlash for avoiding Devin Haney and relinquishing the WBC title. The reason why I know that to be the case because Kambosos at that time was trying to sue me because I made a video stating that Lomachenko is cherry picking Kambosos to avoid Devin Haney, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that I was downplaying him and bigging up Devin Haney at that time. So I know it like it was yesterday because Kambosos tried to sue me. So Lomachenko, all these excuses that Paulie Malignaggi is making that he had to do a surgery, this, that, and the third, he was trying to fight Kambosos the whole time, right after he beat Luke Campbell. But the reason why he didn't go with that is because he received a lot of backlash for that and because he had avoided Devin Haney at that time. Bill Haney, hey, you know, you got, you know, back to Paulie Malignaggi because I want to touch on this subject real quick because you mentioned earlier that Paulie said Loma fought Teofimo Lopez because that was a bigger fight than Devin Haney. But factually speaking, like you pointed out, Teofimo Lopez had never headlined a card up to that point. However, Devin Haney did on multiple occasions. Devin Haney headlined and sold more than Teofimo Lopez. Devin also has and had more followers than Teofimo Lopez. So how was the Teofimo Lopez fight bigger when both Devin and Teofimo are part of the Fabulous Four, Bill?
I got to talk to you. Hold on 1 second, y'all, because hey,
So I don't know if you heard the question. I was telling you, Bill, that Paulie Malignaggi said that the Lomachenko fought Teofimo Lopez because that was a bigger fight than Devin Haney. But factually speaking, Teofimo Lopez had never headlined the card up to that point. However, Devin Haney did on multiple occasions. Devin Haney headlined and sold more than Teofimo Lopez. Devin also has and had more followers on Instagram and also on all social media than Teofimo Lopez. So how was the Teofimo Lopez fight bigger than Devin Haney when both Devin and Teo are on the Fabulous Four? So they both big.
And that's what I want to. That's what I always want to say. I've been knowing the Lopez's for quite some time, and I know I know what their family, you know, what Senior, of course, and his wife have put into to Tio, and everything that, you know, they've done thus far. I wouldn't cheat them out of who they are and what they represent and what they bring to the table, because it's it don't
Tough
short us
business.
none. It don't short us none to give them theirs. You know what I'm saying? It ain't never been that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the business, it's enough in the business for everyone. I mean, I know that wherever Devin is, respectably in his career, and as long as he's compensated for what he brings to the table, and the other person is taken care of for what they bring to the table, then I consider that to be fair business. All this other stuff that they're talking, it makes no sense. You know what I mean?
And
For all
and
intent purposes, huh?
yeah, I have nothing against Teofimo Lopez either. I'm just speaking factually. Tio never headlined a card until he fought Loma. On the other hand, Devin headlined multiple cards. So if we're talking about popularity and which is a bigger fight money wise, it was the Devin Haney fight. If you want to go by Paulie Malignaggi on logic.
Well, if that's the case, but you know that once Devin says, once Teofimo says how much he wants to fight Devin, then it's a whole different story in terms of, you know, who Devin is and what he brings to the table. You know, that's just that part of sometimes Tio gets a little bit of delusional with anger in terms of the positioning that he's in versus Devin. I think that, you know, Devin got out to it a little bit earlier than them guys. You know, he's continued to dedicate his life to it. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and there's no reason to feel negative about him to what the position he in. That's it's all by Allah's permission. And this is the way that God wrote it.
Alhamdulillah. And just to add on
Alhamdulillah.
to all the above, you came on this show and you offered Lomachenko a fight before Linares. Instead of Linares, you were trying to get the Lomachenko fight, and Lomachenko was not interested. So just to further show that you guys tried to fight Lomachenko on more than one occasion. It wasn't just when Lomachenko was a mandatory. Even when Loma just came off a loss to Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney was the WBC champion, Lomachenko was not interested.
Just listen, just recently, when we came back from the first Kambosos win, we said, Loma, we know that the people want to see Devin and Loma. So let's do this fight, and the winner, if anybody is sticking around, give Kambosos, give him a chance then. Give him some step aside money. Give him anything. You know, Kambosos, thank God, you know, we able to handle the business, and Kambosos was able to get his money. And, you know, the Victorian government, I always say shout out to them because they did a tremendous job in supporting that event. You know, but we can talk about a lot of that old stuff, or we can talk about what's happening now. And we did give him multiple opportunities, as well as now we've come to him. And they've said, which I would really believe to be true, that they're going to do everything in their power to make this event happen, along with Devin Haney and us doing it, along with the great Hall of Fame promoter and Bob Arum and Top Rank doing a great job with it, Jeremy Krieger, John Hornhewer, you know, doing a great job with it, and then let's go from there. Get some water in here.
Well, it's factually speaking, Lomachenko turned down the fight from what you're saying 3 times already. Hopefully he won't turn it down for the 4th time. Hopefully this time around, since he got nothing to lose, he will take the fight. There's a super chat real quick, Bill.
Okay, take the super chat. Hold on. Take
Shit. It's about you. It's Bill Haney versus Teofimo Lopez father. Everybody in the comment section, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe below, and click on the notification bell. Yeah, the super
All right,
chat
take
is for
out time
you.
in your day. When you need a little pickup, go on and grab you an expedite. Put
Yes,
put
sir.
1 pack in the water, stir it up, nice and good. Might just need pickup. It's different than coffee, better than coffee. I like it. I like the green.
They got to
I like
pay
the
you for
green
that
apple
commercial.
flavor. Shout out expedite.
They got to pay you for that commercial, Bill. They paying you for that commercial?
I just really love the product.
Okay, okay. Now, super chat: Bill Haney versus T.O. Father exhibition. Put it on
Listen,
the undercard. Devin Haney versus T.O. Put it on the
listen, for the
undercard.
money, anything's possible now. Anything's possible for the money.
Yes, sir. Outside of Devin Haney, Paulie had
Outside
what's
of Devin
going on.
Haney, we got Sean Haney, future #1 player in the world, tennis player, future star at Wimbledon. We got a chance to go to Rod Laver Arena. How'd you like it?
It's cool.
Where can they follow you, Sean?
Look,
Where
he's
can
not
they
used to
follow
Dad
you?
being this close to him all in his face. You know what I'm saying?
Where can they follow you on Instagram?
Where they can follow you at on Instagram. He said, "We follow
Sean H Money with 3 Y's at the end.
with 3 Y's at the end." Is that 3 Y's? Sean H Money with 3 Y's at the end. All right.
Yes, sir. Now, outside of Devin Haney, when it comes to the franchise title, Paulie said is a super. The franchise is like the WBA super title. So, outside of Devin Haney, can you name me the franchise champion in any other division? Since that's what Paulie want to claim.
Outside of Devin and the franchise.
Yeah, so outside of Devin Haney being the franchise champion, can you name me any other franchise champion in boxing?
Okay, Canelo was one, right? Canelo, and then Estrada. Let me see.
Oh.
Franchise champion. Well, shit. I guess Kambosos was a franchise champion, and Teofimo Lopez.
And Lomachenko.
Canelo. Lomachenko.
Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, and Kambosos. So that can be a super title when it's not in every division. We only have one division where we have a franchise champions: Loma, Kambosos, and Teofimo Lopez.
Right. See, you just have nobody. You have no way. You have no way for anyone to get the franchise belt right now because, you know what I mean? It's just there's no. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do it? How do you petition for it? How do you make the big fight? Devin is the undisputed champion. So for us to say that we don't want to fight somebody in the WBC, I think Lomachenko is #1 in the WBC. Is he not? Or somebody?
Yeah.
Is he not?
No, I think it's Loma. Loma is #1 in the WBC and the WBO, I believe.
Right. So it's a way you become still a 2-division world champion.
Yeah.
Why not? Man, I don't even want to. I don't even want to
Yeah.
listen. I don't even want to pay attention to what the privileges are that you can do because I'm not even thinking about that. But it's things that you can do that the people prefer to want to be able to make the big fights happen. And the sanction bodies, they want to make the big fights happen. They don't want you to. It's there if that's what you want to do. If you want to petition for it, it's in the rule books. But if you don't want it, then you don't want it. That's just the way that it goes. It's just something, and it's always been there. It's not something that was made up for Canelo, that was made up for Lomachenko. It's in the rule books, and they went and exercised it. They went and looked for it, and their teams requested it from Mauricio Suleiman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I talked to Mauricio Suleiman, I was letting him know that I knew what, and letting him try to, tell the people and articulate it to the people without us necessarily saying that we don't support it and we don't even have it. Because you got to ask for it. So you can't say, well, we don't support that shit, and you've never asked for it. They can say it's, well, we've never given it to you, so you can't say that you don't like it, you don't want it. You see what I'm saying? So we had to beat it from George Kambosos and then come back to the people and show them that, that Devin is really the people's champ.
Yeah. Well, Paulie want to say, and he want to quote the WBC claiming it's a super title, the WBC franchise that is, but he also don't want to quote Suleiman when he said it's not a championship, it's not a title, it's a trophy. The franchise was designed for the NBF League for Canelo and Loma to avoid their dangerous mandatory, and that's why no one else had the title before them. But Bill,
let me come back in, bro. Let me come back in so I can try to get this volume. Hold on.
Yes, sir. Does Devin still go by Lord Devin Haney? I was trying to get Bill to answer the question, but I could. I talked to Bill Haney about that, and no, he don't. He goes by the Dream. So, yeah, they were calling him that, but when he became a Muslim, they stopped calling him that. He switched it up. So, shout out to the Dream, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Paulie Malignaggi, favorite fighter. If he want to make his dream come true, he got to fight Devin Haney. Hey, Bill, someone had a super chat. Hold on, let me see if I could pull it up. They said, does Devin still go by Lord Devin Haney?
You know what? I think is, that I don't think that he does go by that based on, a strong belief in Islam. I think it's too close to, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah. I can't, your young brother.
The Dream. He goes by the Dream. The Dream.
Yeah, I think he just goes by the Dream. That that I know of. I know that was a nickname that was also given to him that he embraced. But as far as I know, he just go by is the Dream.
Yes, sir. Well, Bill, me and you, we came to the conclusion if Devin Haney walks on water, Paulie is the type of guy who will claim Devin Haney can't swim.
Well, you know what I said? You know what I said while I was thinking about it too? I said if Devin just flew like Superman, came right through the window and sat at the meeting with me and Paulie would say Devin was too scared to take the stairs. You know what I'm saying?
You can't make it up, man. You can't make it up. Paulie kept calling Devin Haney fans racist, but ironically, Paulie got fired from Showtime for being a racist. So the irony of it all. When Paulie, when Paulie needs to make those comments, he got to look in the mirror before he say anything about race.
Can I speak on a punk that's drunk that think he know boxing?
Oh man!
Oh shit! Yeah,
you don't gotta violate Paulie like that. He a good man. He a good man.
So listen, because guess what? I know they in here. You dig what I'm saying? I know they in here trolling. You see what I'm saying? But guess what? We still rolling. You know what I mean?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, and they can listen. They can talk. They can speak. They can speak the blasphemy that they do, and the truth don't need no help. You know what I'm saying? We on here for an hour just cooking. We cooking. We not talking about nobody. We got receipts to everything that we talk about. You know what I mean? Ain't no opinions. This is only facts over here, Jack.
We don't talk opinion. We only speak factually. So
we only speak facts. You dig what I'm saying? So
there's two sides to every story, but when the truth is spoken, the other side is nothing but a lie. When we talk facts, opinions don't really matter. But Bill, I got a lot of people asking me this question, and I want to ask you this question. A lot of people want to know the answer to this question and get your thoughts on it. I want to shift gears to this question about Kambosos rematch. It was a little while ago, but it was a great fight. Of course, one of the best fights this year. But as soon as the fight started, ESPN was showing new stats that we never seen before called clinch stats, excuse me, which is something I've never seen before. And Timothy Bradley, who was a clinch master. Timothy Bradley. He did the math on how many times Devin Haney clinched and how much time that took away from the fight. Now
everybody is still, you know what? And everybody around the world must understand that the dear brother and what he believes in and what he's trying to do and how he's looking at the fight. These guys is human. Andre Ward, who looks at the fight different, he gonna look at the fight different than Timothy Bradley versus Mark Kriegel, Joe Testator. You know, these guys are giving their opinions whether we like it or not. You know what I'm saying? The clinch is something that is not a good look, because anyone that knows boxing know that clinching is part of boxing. When two fighters get entangled up and you put your head where it's not supposed to be, and you know, or you're putting your head where it's supposed to be, I should say, and you're entangled, and that's what having a ref is there for. You know, it's nice when they look. When I noticed that they're looking even more into detail into Devin and trying to dissect him, as if one thing that Floyd said, he was the Matrix. No, he said the Da Vinci Code. He said the Da Vinci Code is something that can never be broken. We have yet for what Devin's is.
Right.
Because they got the Da Vinci Code. They got the Da Vinci Code.
So they got to criticize him different ways. Oh, he's boring. Then he puts on one of the best fights of the year. Oh, he's clinching, even though his opponent's clinching more than him. So that's my point, is that there wasn't excessive holding in neither of the Kambosos fights. However,
how much? Well, the thing is why are we not putting up the other guy's score?
And that's what I'm saying.
How many he's clinching. How come we're not putting up how many he's clinching?
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So only thing I say is let them keep watching, and what you're going to see is an array of different tools that we bring out. Don't be surprised. You got a chance to witness. He brought out the rope-a-dope, the bolo, the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Figure Leonard. Yes, sir.
He brought that one out, and there's going to be a lot of other stuff that he's going to be bringing up in these next fights. He has an array of tool chest of things, but I believe that he is the fighter of the year. That's what I strongly believe, and I encourage people to tell everybody, man. Tell everybody, let's not be quiet. Let's not let a quiet year go by that Devin has been the noisiest without declaring him the fighter of the year. He didn't go over there and do it once and becoming the undisputed. With that being said, at 23, that was historic. But to come back and do something that's unprecedented, and as if to take it and defend all the belts on the road once again in the guy's home country, something that has never been done before, right? And then to leave there with no time off and no vacation in between, be in the ring with someone they say that's a pound for pound list fighter, that's on the pound for pound list, that's ahead of death. Ain't that nothing but a beautiful story?
I like how you flipped the B word. I like how you flipped the B word. But now, listen, Bill. So when it came to, I just want to point out the double standards here, though, because it's important to show that when Fury fought Wilder and was doing excessive holding while fighting dirty, no one pointed it out. But when Devin Haney is not even doing excessive clinching, where his opponent Kambosos is doing more clinching than he's doing, all of a sudden we have new stats called clinching stats. So all I'm asking, Bill, is it too much to ask to get treated fairly, to get a fair shake, like everyone else?
You know what? Yes, it is. It's going to be too much to ask in this lifetime, brother. Nothing is going to be fair, but you're going to have your fair opportunity to show your greatness by the way that they do not celebrate us, the way that they do not help us, and we then show our resiliency to all that. We show that we are built for triumph and not tragedy, that we are true success stories, and you will have your fair share and opportunity to show that, brother. I guarantee you will have that, and you will stand up to it, just like you have. Your vehicle is constantly growing, your fan base, and your voice is getting out, brother. I'm happy to come over here, you know what I mean, and share what we doing each and every time. You know, so to answer your question, alhamdulillah, it's a great time.
Alhamdulillah. You take the good with the bad, and that's why we respect that, Bill. And before I let you go, I do have one more question that a lot of people want to get your take on it. What was your thoughts on Crawford and Errol Spence fight falling apart? And what was your take on all of that? Like, what's going on?
You know what? It's just hard to tell with that because I'm not on the inside of it. If I was on the inside of it, then I could give, my take on it. But I'm not, and I'm not privy of certain details. And when I'm not privy of the whole thing, then I can't give you my part.
Now, another thing, when it comes to the Gervonta versus Ryan fight, do you believe that fight will get made despite the network's issue?
You know what? I'm optimistic for them. I'm hoping that it's going to get made because, I haven't gotten a call, you know what I'm saying, and showed no interest from either one of their teams or any one of their representatives. So I can only hope that the young men are in big fights involving some big money, because that's the only thing that happens if you come fucking around with us is you get paid a lot. And if they ain't calling us, then I'm only hoping and assuming that they getting paid somewhere else. You dig what I'm saying? But in the event that they shit fall out, then they'll give us a cut. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm so serious. You know what I mean? But shout out to the brothers. Shout out to Tank Davis and Gervonta Davis and the hopes that they make a super fight. And the winner of the super fight between
Devin and Loma.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say Teofimo and Dev if Loma don't pop. But, okay. So if Devin and Loma kick, then Teofimo. Because, I seen Teofimo daddy over there, man. And I'm going to tell you one thing. I seen Senior, and we got a thing called leaking like a... No. He was leaking. You know what I'm saying? And if I can bring a big fight over there to Teofimo Senior and let him get some big money over there, you know what I mean? That's what I'd like to do, Well,
what was your thoughts on him saying that the Teofimo Lopez came out and said that, of course, the Kambosos fight was fixed and they were basically trying to make the Devin Haney versus Kambosos on DAZN. That's why they robbed him. But ironically, that fight ended up happening on ESPN. Now he's stating that the reason why Loma got the decision against Ortiz is because they want to make the fight with Devin Haney. Basically, he hinting at there's a fix with Loma and Devin Haney.
Hey, listen, all I seen was that Teo Senior didn't have the same coat on the last 3 fights, and I want to help him. So if the shit don't work out, you dig what I'm saying? Let's get together, baby, and let's get some money.
Yes, sir.
Senior, you dig? Yeah, because that's what this is, man. And Devin is ready for anybody in or right around the division, and we ain't stopping. This is can't stop, won't stop, and
Yes, sir. Well, before I let you go, Bill, is there anything else you want to say to the fans?
Oh, absolutely. No, just thank you always, man, for your platform, brother. And all my humbleness, and I do appreciate everyone that supports this boxing and to keep it moving forward. That's how we keep the lights on and the bills paid around here. So we appreciate you guys' energy and support. We can't do it without you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what anybody else says in the business, you know what I mean? We only do it because of you guys.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Bill, answering all the questions that the fans want to know. And I just want to tell you, Devin Haney and your team are a perfect representation of what representing a real champion such as Devin Haney is, and you're doing a great job with your son, Devin Haney. Pleasure talking with you like always, and I'll catch up with you next time.
Hey, tell Lomachenko we take that heavyweight shit serious. And listen, we know you was already preparing for a lightweight, so I know you double preparing for a heavyweight right now. Lomachenko, we'll be making an announcement soon.
Yes, sir. He's gonna be more prepared than the Nakatani monster he fought, than the Luke Campbell monster, super heavyweight he fought. Loma fought 2 super heavyweights, Luke Campbell and Nakatani. So he
Absolutely.
gonna be
He'll
more
be ready.
prepared than that. Yes,
He'll
sir.
be
Yes,
ready, and
sir.
the world will too. Look forward to talking to you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Peace.
day. Peace. Well, my studio is dying on me. My computer's about to die. The camera already went out. So I appreciate the love and support, my brother, in the super chat. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not blocking you. I don't know what are you talking about, but I appreciate the super chat though. So subscribe below, click on the notification bell, and to be continued on the next episode of AKHi TV. Peace. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.